Okay, here we go. I think I got it set up this time so that it would catch audio as well, and hopefully my children can keep from coming in and bothering me before I'm able to finish this time. So this is the background image is the only one selected, so this is the image that you sent me, and just kind of show you full-size image. This is 100% zoom, so that's the best way to see things. This is my blank layer that I've created to show you what I'm doing in the video, and then just to kind of toggle through and show you this is what I did yesterday. So you can see the areas that have been painted over. Oh, wrong one. And I also did a little bit on Hoyt's face. Next, this is just a brightness layer that I did to brighten your face as well as Heath's. And how I did that, just to kind of give you a quick idea, this little black circle thing, black and white circle, and that's an adjustment layer. You can do brightness and contrast. You can also do a photo filter. Just this is a handy tool that I use a lot when doing stuff. Like if you take a picture and the blues and the greens are too much, you can do a photo filter, a warming filter, and that kind of gives it a little bit more orangey look. But that's just to give you an idea. We don't actually need that, so I'm going to delete it. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to unclick the eyeball on all of these, and that brings us back to the background layer is the only one we can see any edits on. So we're going to toggle that so that this is the one that we are painting on. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so that we can see. I'm going to get the brush tool, going to select it to darken. Opacity is around 30%, that's fine. And we're going to select a color. My screen is option, or my keyboard is option. I'm not sure what yours is. We want kind of a peachy color, so we're going to pick around until we find one. And you can see that was not the right one. That's a good spot right there. Okay, so we're going to use that. We're darkening, low opacity, and then we're just going to paint over the sun-bleached areas. And this is a blown out area, so if you don't paint over it, just for future reference, it will print white in those areas. Here's another one right here. So since just darkening in those areas isn't going to do everything, we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of paint to that area. So we're going to lower the opacity a lot. Usually around 13% is a good starting place for this kind of stuff, and sometimes you even have to go a little bit lower just to kind of get an idea. And we're just putting the color back in instead of just kind of adding a tint. We're actually adding color, and you probably need a smaller brush to start with, because it takes a while to learn, exactly what your brush can do and what it can't. If you feel like you need a little bit of a bump, that's fine. You can do that too. I know a really good technique for ears, so whenever you think you've mastered this, let me know and I can teach you how to tone down the color in ears. Oh, my hard drive is stuffed full, so it won't let me do very much more. But I'm just kind of giving you an overall idea. So we've painted over that. We could toggle this one on and you can kind of see the different areas that I painted. So we've got this covered over. Now what I'm going to do really quickly is over here, the clone stamp tool. We're going to select an area. I'm on a brighter spot. And that's the same, whatever, it's control I think on a PC. Oh, but we need to bump the opacity because we want to cover. Okay, there's my text. There's my iMessage that I told you that I get. And we're just kind of covering over this shadow, and you have to do it in tiny, tiny strokes. And I usually zoom in even more to do this because it's hard to see exactly what you're doing, but I'm just kind of showing you a rough idea. But I do suggest a smaller brush and zooming in more. Okay, so now we kind of have a funky dark spot, so we're going to go back to paint. We're going to bump this a little bit more. Lower the brush. And we're just kind of blending it so that it doesn't look quite so strange. And I'm kind of coloring over because it's kind of purple right there where the shadow is. So we're just working on that. And you can just kind of play with all these different brushes. You can even kind of go through and lighten that, and it takes some of the purple out. The key to it is just blending it so that it makes, because you're going to kind of have a line right here where I've painted. So we're going to lighten the shadows and then kind of color over these lines so that each one isn't just so sharp right there. And like right here also. And then go back and forth, darken, so that we are blending. Okay, so doesn't look exactly how it looked yesterday because I've kind of blended those shadows a little bit better. But just to kind of give you an example. And the kicker is when you go up here to print size, you can see that you can't really see all of those adjustments clearly anyway because, you know, you guys are kind of zoomed out. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And just one last thing to kind of show you, you can crop it. I use a photo ratio of 15 by 11 because a lot of times 8 by 10 crops it in a way that you can't see. So that if you were to crop it, oops, we'll just pretend like that's where we want it. And go let it work. Even then, it's not super clear that we've done a lot of editing because, you know, we're so far away. So that's just to give you kind of an idea of what I did and how to do it.